Team play is one of the most important aspects of League, but Riot are making it less important. Let me explain. Like, do you remember before all the jungle changes, the only person who gets the red or blue buff was the jungler who took it? You as a mid laner had to communicate with the jungler and ask for the last hit on the blue buff to get the infinite mana, and the jungler had to share. You can lose or win fights depending on did you run out of mana, did your jungler gave you the blue buff, did your jungler share. Then they changed it so after jungler took a buff, someone else could come and pick it up. I mean, this change is alright cause you still have to think about getting a buff, but after the Nashor spawns, everyone on the map gets the buff. This change is not alright, like you don't even have to think about it anymore. If someone somewhere on the map on your team took a buff, you will get the infinite mana or the extra damage from the red buff. It's probably a bit too late to talk about this change, but you know, I'm just using it as an example of a mechanic that got simplified, you know. Simplified, that's exactly what happened to the item that I want to talk about today. Zeke's Convergence always was an item that had teammate interactive effect. Since the release of the item in Season 7, its effect always involved a teammate. But now it doesn't, and this item just deals damage now, yeah. Before we continue, look at this 3D animation that I made. Do you know any other League content creator that does it? No. So like the video and subscribe. A long time ago, before the 14.1 changes, it used to have an active. You bind with a chosen teammate, when you immobilize an enemy champion, they get marked and your chosen teammate does extra damage to the marked target. Before that, in 10.23, you link with a teammate. When you use your ult, you become surrounded by a frost storm that slows enemies, and your chosen teammate attacks burn enemies, dealing extra magic damage. If an enemy was hit by both frost and fire, your frost storm ignites and becomes a frost fire storm. On top of slowing enemies, it also deals damage. This effect, it's perfect. Like, you have to play with your teammate. You and your teammate have to hit the same target so your frost storm ignites and you get maximum out of this item. And the version of Zeke's Convergence with extra damage on immobilization, I don't know if this word exists, yeah. This version is nice too, cause you still have to play with a teammate to get the most out of this item. But the effect that it had before 10.23 is my favorite. Now, what about the current version? What it does? It just deals damage. You don't have to link with a teammate or be close to a teammate. Frost Storm just starts without any conditions. All of the older versions since the release of the item involved a teammate, teamwork, and it always was an item that had an impact only if you play with a teammate, but now it just deals damage. Yeah. Similar thing happens to the most items in League. Maybe my videos feel repetitive, but what can I do? Riot are making the same changes to all items in the League. They just remove actives and remove complexity. Items used to have more depth, more meaning, and just used to be more fun. Do you remember Prowlers, Everfrost, Duskblade? But now items just give stats or effects that don't have that much of impact. Oh, but all of the fun items are just broken. Okay, look at the closest League competitor, Dota 2. They have items like Refresher that resets all of your cooldowns, and it is balanced. Riot struggle to make Gore Drinker balanced. Gore Drinker, an item that just does some damage in a circle. It looks like it's a game dev skill issue, yeah. Hashtag game dev skill issue. Oh, but you're not playing League of Items. Yeah, but just imagine if League had items that expand your champion's kit. How fun League would be if it had items like Refresher from Dota. Just how much more space for skill expression there would be, and League simply would be more fun. But we all know that it will never happen, cause Riot only cares about pro play and promo. They are simply not competent enough to make items that have an impact. And they just don't give a about average League players, cause we already addicted and we will play League anyways. Okay, sorry. Back to the main topic of the video. How Riot could make Zeke's Convergence better, in my opinion. And you know, as usual, I'm just a low elo League player. Yeah. I think the version before 10.23 was perfect. It's the one that started Frost Storm around you when you ult, and your linked teammate auto attack would burn the enemies. If you hit the enemy with the Frost Storm and your linked teammate hit the enemy with an auto attack, your Frost Storm ignite and turn into a Frost Fire Storm and start dealing damage on top of slowing. Riot could just bring back this version of the item. But also I have another idea, which will turn Zeke's Convergence into an item that gives effects similar to Electrocute. Let me explain. It would work like this. Zeke's Convergence has an active, just like before, that binds you with one of your teammates. When you deal damage to an enemy champion with auto attack or ability, stacks are applied. When there are 3 stacks on the enemy, your teammate that you binded with has to deal a damage to this target with an auto attack or ability, and the target will be hit with a lightning or something like this. And also there will be a condition. If a binded teammate auto attacks or hits the target before you get 3 stacks on the target, stacks reset and there is no extra damage. So it's just like electrocute, but it's an item and you have to play with your teammate to proc it, and the teammate shouldn't hit the target before there are 3 stacks. This mechanic is easy to understand, but both you and your teammate have to know how this item works, and your teammate has to auto-attack in the right time. This brings back aspect of teamwork to Zeke's Convergence. With current version of the item you ult and just deal damage, but with this change you will play with a teammate, and I think that's the whole point of supports. And it's a lot more fun if you do that and then the ADC did this and you proc Zeke's Convergence. Teamwork rather than I ulted, I deal damage. It probably wouldn't work in lower elos, cause everyone just wants to be 1v9 solo carry demon. No one wants to be a team player in lower elos. But eventually everyone will catch up on how the item works. Zeke's Convergence always had an active that worked only if you play with a teammate. This change will bring it back and increase like the teamwork aspect. And again, it's just a concept and it must be tested. Maybe maximum stacks should be 2 and the condition with the stack reset wouldn't work, and I'm just a low elo league player, yeah. Anyways, write in the comments what you think about an item like this. Maybe if you have another idea, then yeah, write it in the comments. I will read it. I read all of the comments and I like them. Yeah, I'm a really nice guy, you know. And also now you know about Zeke's Convergence and how Riot could make it better, in my opinion. But do you want to know about an item that shouldn't exist? Then go watch this video and please subscribe, cause I only got 670 subs.